morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is May 8th, 2017, and today is the day after French elections. Today is Monday morning. So let's look at what's coming up this week before we discuss yesterday's scheduled event. Not much coming up this week, as you can see. There are a few things that are coming up at the end of the week related to the New Zealand dollar, GBP, but no major events scheduled for today. So let's see what's going on the day after the French elections and the day after the NFP and the day after the FOMC. So we're going to be looking at that. Let's initially start with the Euro USD, okay, the biggest one that we have going forward. So we rallied close to 110-ish last week, okay. As you can see here, we broke this 109.45. The trick is we got to sustain this momentum, okay. That's going to be the new trick, okay. I think the low side is going to be 109.45-ish level, and the high side is 120-ish level. I mean, that's a pretty tight range for the Euro USD, but given the fact that we've been in a 200 to 300 pip range for almost 2 years now, if we look at it, we traded more than that, okay, if we're looking over the time period of 2 years, but in truth, from month to month, we've only been in a 200 pip range, okay, mostly. So the fact that we broke up above this 108.70 was a major level. The fact that we are above this 109.45 is a major level. Now we haven't broken above 110, which is a psychological barrier, okay. This 110, a rounded number, is a very big number. So I think we're going to be trading within this 110, 108-ish level until we see some continued momentum on the upside. So take a look at this, keep it on your radar, and see how this unfolds. Now this is obviously related to the economic sector in Europe as a whole. Now looking at the DAX here, okay, this is the German exchange, you see we just keep on breaking higher. Now we had a beautiful breakout, okay. As you can see here, we had this resistance at 12,439-ish level, 449-ish level, and we broke it up with volume. And I mentioned this last week. I said this might be a great opportunity for this breakout, and sure and behold, we're up above 400 points from when we called it last week. So, at this stage, I wouldn't chase it going up because it could, obviously retrace itself. You're chasing it at the top of the move. But looking at it, from this perspective, you see that there's a tremendous push in the economic sector in Europe, Germany being one of the biggest contributors, okay, both in its size and in its importance in Europe's development. So this is something you got to watch very carefully vis-a-vis the Euro USD and how this unfolds. Now looking at the GBP USD, we had a little bit of a breakout last week, and we're retracing just below this 129.70-ish level. We do have this resistance at 129.70-ish level, as you can see here. It was previous support, okay, and now we're just, we're hovering below it. We look like we want to take it up above, but we haven't broke up above this 130-ish level. So there's a resistance here. So if you are long it, just keep an eye on it. If you do intend to short it, maybe ease into the position as you can, make your profit between this 129.90-ish level and 129.26. Now it's a tight move, but you could take out 20-30 pips out of it. No shame in that. Looking at the the Aussie USD, we're breaking lower here to 74.145. We're making lower lows and lower highs, which is indicating a little bit of a sell-off here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves at this 173.29-ish level later in the week. So I'd like to see a little bit maybe of a bounce. If we don't bounce, we definitely could take it even shorter as this week progresses. So keep an eye on this. We're looking at gold before. This is looking at gold. Tremendous sell-off in gold last week. We're looking at a daily chart here from 1300-ish level, let's call it, and selling off quite sharply to 1220, 1229-ish level. There is a support here at 1220, and there is a resistance obviously at 1245-ish level. So I think we're going to be trading, we're going to find a new range, and we're going to be range bound trading for this summer. But let's see how this unfolds itself. So it might be a good buying opportunity right here after this tremendous sell-off, almost 80 points just within last week. So looking at the other commodity, oil, rebounding a little bit after being clobbered from last week, almost a 10-point move. That's a 20% move for the price of oil in just a week. So here we're kind of just coming back to ourselves right here at $46 a barrel. Now, weak oil means better for the economy. Things are cheaper to transport, cost less to travel. So this is not such a bad thing that the price of oil is low. Okay, so you have to see how this unfolds itself as well. Looking at a daily chart, we've been pretty, it's pretty clear that $53 was a resistance level. It's pretty clear that at this $45 level there's a little bit of a support, or there is a support at this $45 level. So trading within these ranges, you could definitely take and definitely scalp some money out of it. Now, we mentioned the DAX before. Let's look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones hasn't really been breaking higher. Okay, we had this massive rally last week as we opened up towards the end of the week. We sold off, okay, towards the end of the day, and now we're just bouncing at 20,958, which is below 21,000, which is our all-time highs. If I look at a weekly chart, we're hovering about above it, but we're not breaking higher. This could turn into a double top, okay, if we don't break higher. So keep an eye on this as this unfolds as well. A lot of companies reported last book, including Facebook, Microsoft, AIG, Amazon, major companies in the United States. It's their second quarter of the year. So, something that needs to be really discussed to see how this is going to unfold. We're going into the summer now. Summer is usually historically a quiet season for the indices, for equities, for stocks related symbols. So just be aware of that, okay? But the DAX obviously very, very strong. So I would look for something to do in the DAX, oil and gold as well. This is Fred Razak at CM Trading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.